A lot of changeover going down in Milwaukee today as we welcome the 2024-2025 Milwaukee Bucks as we know them now. We await the final signing on the roster going into next year, and we may have pinpointed the type of player the Milwaukee Bucks are targeting. Welcome on into Bucks Digest. If you want to keep it locked on all things Milwaukee Bucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. But just mentioned, a lot of changeover. The coaching staff officially being announced today, Doc Rivers' coaching staff, and he mentioned last week in a press conference introducing the rookies that we've got a familiar face returning to Milwaukee this year, and that's Darvin Ham. You know, Darvin Ham obviously coaching the Lakers for the last couple of years, but the last time being in Milwaukee, I think we remember exactly what happened. He had that Larry O'Brien trophy sitting right underneath his left arm. Very exciting to have him back in the building, knowing what it takes to win a championship, especially in the Eastern Conference as well, a tough Eastern Conference, and in Milwaukee nonetheless. So great to have a guy back with the culture that we saw him grow and prosper in. Dalen Wright also signing his contract today, officially becoming a Milwaukee Buck, but that leads us to the final roster spot. Who is going to take up this final roster spot? Because we had a big name leave over this past week once free agency opened, and that was Malik Beasley. Obviously, Malik Beasley had played a very big impact on this team last year, shooting the three ball the best on the team, actually. He shot 47% on corner threes as well, and those numbers just don't lie. 75% of his shots were threes as well. He shot 41%, overall from beyond the arc. He's a really impressive player when it comes to shooting the three ball. Even more on that, he shot 43% on catch and shoot threes, 40% on guarded catch and shoot threes, and 47% on open catch and shoot threes. I mean, he was in the 95th percentile, as you can see here, as a jump shooter. That's impressive, and that's going to be a large gap to fill. Not only that, he also was 11th in three-pointers made in the NBA last year. We're going to be looking for a wing that could shoot the three ball, that could strive and prosper as good as he did. And truly, what they're going for is a lot of versatility, and that's the theme of this entire offseason is versatility, is who's going to come into this building and really provide you with basically an all-around player, a Swiss Army knife, being able to play some offense, shoot the ball, play defense, and really provide on both sides of the floor. I think this just proves we know that they're going after a guy that I actually mentioned in a video last week, and that was Gary Trent Jr., a versatile scorer, a great three-point shooter. He's shooting 37% on corner threes, 43% on threes just in general. So a little bit lower than Beasley, but still gives you that sufficient three-point accuracy. He's also 2 years younger. He's 6'5", so he gives you a little bit more of that lankiness. And he's able to play that wing position pretty well and stretch it well as, on top of that. He's going to be a guy that's going to give you his all on the floor. But really, when you see what this team is missing out on, it is that lack of what are we going to do in these stretch positions, in these lanky positions, needing these players that are a little bit more sufficient on both ends of the floor, doing whatever and stretching in that big man role or that small forward role as well. Gary Trent is a guy that hasn't been getting much traction, but really should. I feel like there's a couple teams that should be looking at him, Milwaukee included, of course, but he could really complement especially Taurean Prince that just came in here last week. Taurean Prince and him playing that 3 and 4 role, especially while Giannis may be at the 5 or Dame at the 1, and you all are complementing there, that's going to be huge. I think it's going to be even bigger. You can play Bobby Portis on the floor with a guy like Gary Trent Jr., a guy who's gritty, who will give you his all, and who will put up numbers and put up the three ball just as much as he really needs to, and they're going to ask him to. Losing out on Beasley is huge because of the way that he shot the three, because of his ability to play that 6-7 man role off the bench and really supply for them. And even in those instances where Dame went down in the playoffs, or they were looking for a little bit more out of guys. And when Chris Middleton went down too, Beasley stepped up. You need a young guy that's going to step up and really supply you with stepping into any role possible if you have somewhere where you're weak. Gary Trent Jr. can play wherever you need him to. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see Gary Trent on this team, or if you have another player that would fit this role better. I'd love to hear it. Keep it locked here on Bucks Digest.